Hello, this is PJ the Whip Gonzalez, Paula Jasmine Gonzalez here. Welcome to my channel, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am on my way to the Accelerated Sport Complex. It's Saturday. If you're watching this, it's probably going to be Sunday because I don't have no plans on dropping this until Sunday. So, it's not a Saturday, it's a Sunday for you. But for me, it's a Saturday. So I'm driving to the Accelerated Sport Complex right now to year 3 New York Championship Wrestling. And tonight I'm facing my nemesis, my biggest opponent in all this time, Riley Shepard. Yeah, it's going to be a fun match. Looking forward to that. Who knows? It could be the last time I'm a champion. I don't know about that. We will find out tomorrow or Sunday, which means today, assuming that I make the video, the match, and I'm assuming that I have that I posted the other video about my reactions to the match, which I will do after I have done the match today. Just because I think it would be interesting for people to hear that. But I'm sure it's going to be a good match. I'm sure it's going to be a good crowd. Definitely looking forward to this. And then the next wrestling show is going to be on October 23rd. For New York Championship Wrestling, it's going to be right in Colony, but I'm not going to be on that show. I have a compromise already to Battlefront Pro Wrestling, Battlefront Pro Wrestling Extreme. So I'll be there on October 23rd in Ludlow, Massachusetts. Get your tickets. Gangrel is supposed to be there, and it's going to be in a casket match against Gigi Sosa. Me, I'll be there, and I will be doing fun stuff. And then the next show is going to be on October 31st in New Jersey. The details to come soon. But the next couple of weekends I'm going to be free, and I will probably get my booster shot because I still haven't got my booster shot. I'm due for my booster shot. Concerned that I got my vaccine earlier this year, or in April. So they said like 6 months or so to get the booster shot. So I'm planning on doing that. And honestly, like, it's frustrating dealing with the pandemic because at this point we should be over with it, but we're not. And we're still with the pandemic. A lot of people don't want to wear masks, and a lot of people are kind of like, maybe what am I choice when it comes to vaccine? But honestly, like, vaccines are necessary in this case. It's a very deadly virus. Like, I don't get why people don't want to get vaccinated. It's really frustrating, honestly, because I wish we were over that. I don't know what's going to happen during the winter. And during the winter, we know that cases usually tend to go up, or flu and all that kind of stuff because we spend more time indoor. I don't know. I mean, but to me, it's frustrating. So I really don't know. But yeah, I just hope that things get better sooner or later because I just don't want to see another shutdown in terms of like everything closing. So definitely I just wish that we could finish. We don't have to deal with the pandemic anymore now, honestly. It's been almost 2 years, especially 2 years since after I heard the news that there was virus in China going on, and once I heard the news that they were shutting down some places in China, I was like, oh gosh, okay, I think this is going to get a lot more. And I hate when I was right, pretty much to an extent. Like I said, I'm driving to the Accelerated Sport Complex. I'm wearing my, for those that like wrestling, this is the Brand Cutler t-shirt. It has a gigantic dragon holding a D20. I'm driving, so I want to like limit myself too much because I'm driving. So yeah, tonight's going to be interesting. Like I've said before, like I never expected. It seems like I don't see myself as a champion. When I came back from wrestling, I just wanted to like help the new people, get over, and that's about it. I was not thinking about going for titles. I was not thinking about being a champion, just happened by casualty, you know. And I do appreciate the opportunity. It's been like a good run, but like I never saw myself as a champion, and I think that's probably is having self-doubt about my skills, and probably about my gimmick, you know, because it's a very different gimmick, and not many people do clown gimmicks. Not many people do circus gimmicks, you know, and the way that I'm doing my gimmick is different from other circus gimmicks that are out there. So, you know, everybody remember the carnies are wearing the Ring of Honor, and then like you have Lion and Midas Black that also was circus gimmick, you know. So it's doing the circus gimmick is interesting, but like it's you never know how the crowd is going to react, you know. I do like the circus gimmick because, you know, like considering that the history of wrestling started carnivals and eventually ended up getting to arenas, you know. To me, it's like acknowledging that past of wrestling, and then at the same time, it's also me bringing something different too, because I actually can juggle, so I'm using that as part of my gimmick during intermission to entertain the fans, you know. And, especially now that the Big Top Circus, the Franklin Brothers and Barnum, they closed down, and I understand why. You know, a lot of people had concerns about the way that they were mistreating the animals, and so audiences began to dwindle away from that circus. There are still circuses out there, you know. You still have Cirque du Soleil, and there are smaller circuses, like for example, I have a friend of mine, he has Bandelston Family Circus, and he also runs like variety shows, which are almost like cabaret style. Back in 2012, I went to one of his variety shows to perform in New York City, my whip act. Because not only I use a whip for my entrance in wrestling, but also I know how to do stunts. Like I can have people holding like targets, like a flower, and I can slice the flower with the tail end of my whip. I also can slice newspaper. Like I have an act that I have developed that I can use if I perform in variety shows, and I have done that. I like performing in variety shows. I have performed in variety shows in Albany. I also, like I said, I got into interest in juggling, and I started juggling back when I was in high school. I was in like back then there was no YouTube, I said, so I couldn't learn too many tricks. So I taught myself a little bit of how to juggle, and then later on in 2010 I got more serious about it. I wanted to learn more tricks, but also I wanted to learn other props, and I always wanted to try to do clubs. Clubs are what people think that they're bowling pins. They're not bowling pins. Don't call them bowling pins. They are clubs. They are clubs that are different than bowling pins. Bowling pins have a shorter handle. This ones have a longer handle, which makes it easier to catch up and toss them up. And they are more balanced than a bowling pin. And they are also light. They're made out of plastic. And like I said, they're clubs. And juggling a club is different because like when you juggle balls, you don't have to worry about the spin. But like when you juggle a club, you have to worry about the spin of the club. Because if you give it too much spin, you're going to end up catching the bigger part of the club, not the handle. So it's a tricky way to learn. It takes me like about 2 or 3 months to be able to get it where I want it to be. And then I found the other prop that I like to use a lot is the Diabolo, which is it looks like a yo-yo, but it's not a yo-yo. If we're going to compare it to a yo-yo is on a string. The Diabolo is not on a string. We use a pair of sticks that had a string attached, and then you pretty much like spin the Diabolo and it makes a balance, and then you can toss it around, toss it very high, and all that kind of stuff. And there's a bunch of cool tricks that you can do. I have seen that one being performed at Cirque du Soleil. Back before the pandemic hits, I went to with a friend of mine. We went to see Cirque du Soleil Oval in the Times Union Center, and there was Tony Freiberg was doing the grasshopper, and he blew a Diabolo, and I was excited because I've seen. I found his video online before. Even I went to Circus Soleil. I used to watch Jordan videos, and I saw his videos online, and he was an amazing performer. And then I found out that he was going to join Ovo, and I was like really excited. And I always wanted to see it. That was back in 2012 that I found out that it was with Ovo, and I never had the chance. And then finally, Ovo came to Albany, and I was able to see it, and I was super happy about that. It's so I knew who he was, I knew how good he was, and I was excited about seeing him perform the Diablo act. The other circus that I went to see this past summer, because I do like the circus, that's the thing, I love the circus, I love going to the circus. I went to see, they invited to Troy, the Circus Under the Stars by Hathaway Circus, and they had a bullwhip act, which was close to what I do, you know. It was very interesting because it was a couple. They also did a crossbow act, and they also had Diabolos too. And I love when I see Diabolos because I practice the Diabolo. I know the tricks that I can do, and there are tricks that I cannot do. I'm aware of my level of skills when it comes to the Diabolo. So whenever I see somebody do the Diabolo and doing like way more than I can, I'm really happy about that, and it makes me really happy to enjoy the performance. It's like, oh cool. That's what I aspire. If I put more practice, maybe I can get as good as that. But like, it's really a lot of people think it's talent. In all honesty, it's like wrestling. You practice a lot, you know. You practice a lot to learn how to juggle the Diabolos, you know. And I do enjoy it. It's fun. It's almost like exercise to me. I can get a good sweat with that when I get good. But also, I enjoy also the performing aspect of it, and being a wrestler and being also involved in theater. That's one of the things that I enjoy the most, being able to entertain the audience, being able to show something that they may have not seen in a while, or people may have never seen, you know. Because remember, the circus have gotten like, Cirque du Soleil is quite expensive to go and see. So not many people have gotten the chance probably to go and see a circus, you know. Even kids this day, like, there are not many circuses going around, so like, they may not have the chance to go and see the circus. So whenever I have the chance, I just love when people come to me like at the wrestling show, and they're like, oh, that's really cool. One time I was trying to learn that, but I couldn't never get into it. You know, like that makes me happy that people are enjoying also seeing that and enjoying that. Besides wrestling, because wrestling has been also the part that I've been using to do the circus gimmick. You know, so and I know it's a silly gimmick, but to me it has worked. The fact that I got given the opportunity to be the champion, I really do appreciate it. I think if I lose the title tonight, which I don't know if it's going to happen at this point yet, in all honesty, like, it's been a good run. I'm really happy. I never expected it. It's probably going to be the last title that I will ever hold, because I don't know how much time I will have in the business, you know, and I don't know how much my body will be able to take the punishment that I get in the ring whenever I wrestle, you know. Like I mentioned before, I'm past my 40s. I'm still doing this, and the only way to do this is like going to the gym, keeping yourself in good physical condition, you know. It's a tough business, and your body is also really tough too. Like, this is not for everybody. And even there's people that can even, like, after a few years they can no longer go, you know. And then again, at the same time, like, in my career, I have been careful, you know. I don't think I need to be throwing like suicide dive from the top rope or things like that all the time, you know. I've been more focused on grappling, telling a story. That, for me, that's the thing that I enjoy the most when I'm wrestling, is telling a story. To me, doing too many spots, because I'm not a high flyer myself, so like, it's also using what I can do good in the ring, you know. I know a lot of people like to see high flying stuff. Yeah, it's nice, it's cool, you know, but like, how many of those are, you cannot have one of those in every match. It's not a good thing, it's not possible. And I prefer to wrestle safely, you know, and the crowd is going to get into it. Even if you don't do a suicide dive or too much high flying, the crowd is probably going to get into it, you know. Watch watch matches, on YouTube, and on all matches. Like, try going to get into it. Even new matches, like you see guys that are doing very little, that they don't do any high flying, and they still can get the crowd popping. It's not how you work and tell the story. Remember, in wrestling, it's a story. It's good versus evil. That's what you are telling this in the ring. Telling a story of good versus evil. One person has to be the villain. Most of the time I play the villain. I enjoy it. But you also need a good person, a hero. So if you can work a match that clearly shows that one person is a villain and the other one is a hero, you're going to get a response no matter what you do in the ring. And people are going to get into it. They're going to get sucked because that's what they like to see. That's what they enjoy seeing. More than moves. And again, moves are cool and that kind of stuff. And I give credit to people that can do a bunch of like high flying stuff. I cannot do that on my own. I'm not a very high flyer. So, but telling a story, that's what moves people. That's what makes people want to watch wrestling. Even like when I watch like stuff on TV, like it's the storylines that I'm interested in. Like, otherwise, like okay, it would be more like boxing or like MMA, and even then it's fun, but there's not like that entertainment value, that wrestling has. When you watch some of the matches, and the storylines that happen. Like for example, like one of the recent storylines that really caught my attention was from AEW. It was Big Swole and Diamante. Diamante began using the chain to win her matches. She's been cheating. That's something that I haven't seen in a while, and that was fantastic. And then it ended up in a 3 strikes match, and that was so awesome. That was such a good match, and I totally enjoyed that match between them because they set up a story, and it's a story that hasn't been in a while. Diamante cheating, being the villain, and then Big Swole like angry because as a hero she got stolen. They win because of Diamante using a chain. So it was such a beautiful story, and it makes me wanted to watch that. And that's the thing about wrestling. Wrestling doesn't need to be super complicated, and this is my opinion. People are welcome to have whatever opinion. But it's a story. It's a story that you're trying to tell. It's something that you're trying to do, and it's a portrayal of characters. And that's what I enjoy about it. That's what I enjoy about theater. That's what I enjoy because I've done theater. I enjoy theater the same way. Like it's a story. When I choreograph fight scenes from theater too, I like to tell a story in my fight scenes. Everybody knows that Romeo ended up killing T-Ball. But how does that happen? I don't want to make it like make the fight very predictable. No. I don't want to do that. I want to make the fight create drama, create a flow of like, oh God, it seems like Romeo is about to get killed, and then all of a sudden, boom, a surprise happened what people expected to happen. That's what I like. And understanding the brain psychology, it's interesting because understanding the brain psychology is what have helped me when I do fight for theater. And I'm really happy about being able to do theater and being able to do fight choreography, and I really enjoy it. So definitely really happy about doing fight choreography. But I'm grateful that I've been able to do wrestling and wrestling be my for so long, and it's been my influence and my motivation to get involved in stage combat, because it was interesting going to get into stage combat, but at the same time it happens because I feel like, well, I can wrestle in a wrestling ring, I can fight in a wrestling ring, but how different would be in a stage, and that was the thing that got me interested in stage combat, and then being able to apply what I had in wrestling into stage combat too. It's also a lot of fun for me. And even recently, I had the chance of using those skills because I have a friend in New York City. They run a show called Scowl, and they invited me to be part of it, and I was part of it. It was fun to be able to do that, to fight on stage, different from fighting in the ring, but at the same time, again, you're telling a story, and that's what I like about doing that kind of like, when I'm in the ring, I'm trying to tell a story, So definitely, that's what I enjoy about wrestling in general. And I hope that you all enjoy that about wrestling too. I don't know. You're welcome to have your own opinion, but if share your opinion here, your comment. What you think you like about wrestling? What you think wrestling could improve? We know there's a lot of people that are mad at WWE, and I know what happened recently. I'm not going to talk about that, but people have their opinions. So I'm curious to see like what you enjoy most about wrestling. The characters. What's your favorite character? What's been your favorite gimmick? To me, one of my favorite gimmicks has been The Undertaker. I've been a big fan of The Undertaker for a very long time, and since I started watching wrestling, I love that gimmick. That gimmick was fantastic. The Undertaker has been my favorite. His matches, it didn't matter if he win or lost. I just enjoy the way that he portrayed that character. It was fantastic. Definitely. So let me know what was your favorite gimmick, in wrestling. So anyway, that's all I got. 21 minutes of me talking about a lot of stuff. So I'm going to stop here because otherwise I could go like for an hour until I'm in there, and I don't want to go for an hour. Anyway, peace out, everybody. Stay safe.